Hi. About attachment. Around 20 years ago, I had all of my belongings taken from me by the Danish government because my autocamper I was living in at the time had been put on Interpol as stolen because I had removed a clamp which had been put on it in a place where the police had told me it would be fine to have it. So they took it and crushed it and kept all of my belongings because I didn't have the money at the time to pay for the fine for them having towed it away. And so I lost everything. Then again, another maybe 5 years later, I again lost all of my belongings when I had to get rid of a houseboat which I had built in an illegal place, which turns out to have been not very far away from a perfectly legal place, which of course the government didn't tell me. So I had to get rid of everything again. And then about a year ago, I lost everything apart from a rucksack with some clothes and some papers in it. The reason I tell you this is that it wasn't that bad. As a matter of fact, in some ways, it was very liberating because all of our possessions, external possessions, are things that bind us in a sense. If you consider that we have like a string to everything we own attached to us in some way, then we are perhaps owned by those things. Those are the external things. And we can survive without any of those things. No problem. Then we have the internal things which we carry around with us. The luggage which we take with us wherever we go, and which is much harder to divest ourselves of. These are attachments to people and our own states, thoughts, attitudes. How does one go about severing those attachments? We will also lose our health, our abilities to do different things, which can be hard to accept, and yet which ultimately we will have to accept unless there's much more progress made in repairing human beings in the coming years, and we have plenty of money, in which case we'll be able to get the stem cell therapy and the new bits replaced in ourselves. But ultimately, we will have to leave this body at some point or other. So it would be smart to begin to build on that side of ourselves which may be possible to survive the shock of death. That's a big claim. But everything points towards all of the literature which I've covered, and that is the literature of all countries, the best books, the best philosophy of all countries. I don't say that in order to be vain. It's a simple fact. I have looked at these different sources, and they all point towards it being possible to develop something in ourselves which can survive the terrible shock of death, in which this flesh will be removed from us. Our bones, our flesh, everything will ultimately be taken. Already having lost, as I'm sure you have too, many, many friends and family who went into that great void, perhaps more unprepared. I think of it as trying to sail a little boat through a terrible storm. Although many descriptions of dying say that it's in fact a blissful experience. But those are the ones who came back. And as it's said in the past, that death is that undiscovered country from whence no traveller ever returns. Unless you believe in psychics who are able to, or say they're able to, communicate with people who have passed on. I prefer personally to try to hold on to that which I'm quite certain of, to build my house on as solid a foundation as is possible with my present understanding. No one can say for certain what happens when we die. There are many theories, but they are, at the end of the day, theories. And a theory, in some respects, is like a scream in the dark. Even great minds like Einstein, who wasn't necessarily awakened, but a super intellect, regarded the great unknown and himself, his own position in it, as being like a little child sitting on a beach counting sand grains. So I would suggest that one should use one's time in building on that part of oneself which may survive the ultimate shock of leaving this dimension. Bye.